If anybody in the room has any questions, you can raise your hand and ask that. I said, if anybody in the room has any questions, you go ahead and raise your hand and ask that. Okay. That's all good. It's all good. Please. Get that.
I mentioned this to Cat because I was curious about this. I think he kind of gave me a breakdown on this. This book of Hebrews 7 and 12.
Okay. Let's go ahead and read it.
Hebrews 7 and 12.
Might show up the water for smoking. You know what I'm saying? Water for that. Oh, sloppy.
3.
Come on. We'll go ahead, sir.
Please.
Come on.
Let them know where you at.
Come. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law. Verse 13.
That's it.
Oh.
John, so just clarify your question.
Okay, so the question is, like, I think Cap answered this for me, but I ain't clear on the memory. I believe that Cap gave me the breakdown for this, but I couldn't remember it, and I meant to ask, you know. You dig? So, the question is, like, it says if the priesthood is changed, then there must be by necessity a change in the law. So I just wanted to get a general breakdown on that. Was the change in the law the actual fact that we went from the Levitical priesthood to the priesthood of Melchizedek? Was that the?
For one thing, we're gonna let Cap, break it all the way down. I don't have the full breakdown, but what you just said right there is already a change in the law.
Right.
It's already like before we get into any of the details, any of the nooks and crannies. There's already a change in the law because the law says who's the priest?
The Levites.
The Levites. The law says that no other tribe can be in the priesthood, period.
Right.
The laws of Moses say that you cannot find anywhere in the book of Leviticus or Deuteronomy that says anything about a Judite being a priest.
Right. That's the breakdown.
It doesn't nowhere. It does not exist nowhere.
That answers the question.
That's what it is. In order for a Judite to be a priest, there has to be a change in the law.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? Start right there. But yeah, I know Cap probably got more precepts that can, really flesh it out and break it down.
I don't think we need anything else, but that's a change.
Yeah.
That's
what it is.
Yeah. And he broke down the change, like he broke down like the sacrificial change.
Right.
Like we're the sacrifice now.
Right.
He broke that down. So I just wanted to get it all together. You understand? Because
Because
a lot of times I hear brothers say that the sacrificial law was done away with when it wasn't.
Right. I mean,
it just changed that we're the sacrifice now.
Well, okay, so with that, you got to be careful with how you word it. You know
Con.
I know what you mean, right?
Sir.
But if you say that the sacrificial law is not done away with, you got to be careful because somebody will assume that you mean that we're literally still supposed to sacrifice certain things. Because remember, in the Levitical law, every sacrifice wasn't the same. There were some things where I had to sacrifice a dove for. Some things I had to sacrifice a goat for. Some things I had to sacrifice a lamb for. There's a different, sacrifice for those things. And some things are what? You got the punishment of death, right? Which in itself was a sacrifice, right?
Sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful. I know exactly what you mean, but the law of sacrifice as we know it is done away with.
Come on, sir.
As
I
in,
think, and I
for your
understand exactly
sins.
what you're saying too.
Right, yeah. For your sins now, you know what I mean? We don't gotta
exactly
sacrifice nothing.
right.
You know
And
what
we
I'm
ain't got to
saying?
worry about
Christ-
the Levites coming to the crib.
Exactly. Ain't no Levite coming to your crib to slice your head off. You know what I mean? That's how it used to be. There was a time when if you got caught doing anything that was, you know what I'm saying, that was registered under that penalty, there was no questions about it. Once they say, yo, that brother's guilty, they knocking down your door, and now you getting your head cut off, literally, or stoned to death. You know what I'm saying? That's why when we read in the New Testament, when it talks about the punishment of the law, you know what I'm saying? That death, that's what was done away with. That's what we don't deal with right now, is that punishment of the law. You know what I'm saying? But don't get it twisted. The Lord will still cut your head off. Right. You know what I'm saying? He just won't cut your head off with a sword or a machete from some Haitian brother running in there. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna do it that way. You know, he's gonna give you some nice AIDS. Right. You know what I'm saying? Give you some nice lung cancer or some nice horrible disease. You know what I mean? That's gonna put you to death. You know what I mean? That's how that goes now. You know what I mean? But yeah, Yanazar, that's a Tawab question. Tawab for that. God. Maestro, if you could just check online real quick. Okay. See if anything popped up. God. It should be. Y'all put both of them up there on the joint. Kind of, that should be too up. Okay. Most high Christ. Any other questions in the room? Yeah, want to show you got something? Mm-hmm.
Like it says, and I think it's coming up, so I'm not sure if we go over now or later. But what I find the story of the sons and their mother who refused to eat the swan under the Greek captivity.
You find that in Maccabees. Yeah. Yeah, let me find out exactly. Let me find out exactly where it is. That's exactly what we're gonna read this weekend of the feast. Mm-hmm. So Yazor. It was 7 sons, I believe. Yeah, 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7. 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now we could get into that. Like the brother said, we're gonna be reading that this weekend. That's an excellent story. Who knows? Who can give me a little synopsis on that? Go ahead, Yanazar.
Of the Greeks have us in captivity in our own land, and so they're starting to force us into Greek culture and habits,
Also known as
the heathen or Hellenistic.
There we go.
Hellenistic culture.
There's a word you can look up that describes a person of non-Greek origin being almost being kind of, I won't say brainwashed, but coming to adopt Greek culture at that time, right? The brother just said it, Hellenization. They become Hellenized. Give me a word that we use now that's similar to that. Go ahead. Americanized. It's the same thing. Greek, you know what I'm saying? Greek culture was known as, you know what I'm saying, the Hellenists, right? Because that was one of their people that they worshiped, they loved, they were called the Hellenists, right? So Hellenization is this process by which a non-Greek, you know what I'm saying, by original nation or original race now is adopting this culture, right? Which is why every person in this room on paper is what?
An
American. Yet on paper, Brad Pitt is an American. And so is every other devil that you see on your TV screen, that's that's from this place. We're all called American on paper, but yet we know we're not the same as them. So at this time, like what Yanazar is talking about, is you had black people who were becoming Hellenized. We were adopting and being integrated into Greek society.
All
right, go ahead, Yanazar.
And so at this point, the ruler or the governor who was over Israel, he decided that he wanted to show his power. You understand? So he started forcing Israelites to eat pork.
Right.
Like they had to eat pork. And he would make a show of it. Like he would have a crowd. It's just like a lynching today.
Right.
In modern time. They would get you out there and you either eat the pork or you're slaughtered.
Right.
So it came to this family, to make a long story short, it came to this family, this woman, she had 7 sons. And each son took a turn being tortured and murdered because they would not yield.
Right.
And they did not eat the pork.
Right.
And they're one of the greatest examples of men that I ever seen in my life. And I mean, like when you hear the whole story, I ain't gonna give up that too much because you come here on Sunday, you get the whole story.
Yeah, we're gonna break it all the way down. That's literally what that feast is about.
Exactly. And then even the mother, they did the same thing to the mother, and she stood even stronger than the sons.
Yeah, the scriptures say she was marvelous above all.
That's right.
Right. So that's the story of bravery. And it's the story of just how strong-minded you got to be in here. You understand? To be in here, you got to have that kind of mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the mics facing the right? You got to have that kind of strength, that kind of spirit. You know what I mean? You got to have the spirit of the Most High. That's what that is. You know what I mean? It's that spirit that says, you know what? I'll die before I do anything that goes against what the Lord told me to do.
Right.
I mean, it don't get no more manly than that. You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of brothers out here, man. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. We still look at the devil and try to aspire to be like him. You know what I'm saying? We think that he got something that he got something we should, try to mimic, or some heathen. You know what I mean? Ain't no heathen got that kind of gumption. Period. Not even close. You know what I'm saying? And a black woman that's trained by America, she don't have that kind of, you know what I'm saying? She can't teach her son those lessons. You know what I mean? Whoever read the Willie Lynch letter. You know what I'm saying? What does it say in that Willie Lynch letter? I'm paraphrasing, but it tells you that you know what I'm saying, you got to use the black woman because she's gonna be what? For good economics. Use the black woman to train her children to be what? Docile. If you beat the father within an inch of his life and humiliate him and tear him down in the sight of the woman, she'll train her children never to be strong, never to fight against anything, but always to keep your head down and be docile. You know what I'm saying? And be a good slave, right? But this woman that we're gonna read about on Sunday, she told her sons to do the opposite. She could have been like, no, I don't want to lose my babies. I don't want to lose y'all. So, just take a nibble. It's not even a big deal. Just take a little bite of the pork chop and we'll be fine. You know what I mean? I'll go first. I'll take a bite of the pork bacon or the pork chop or the ham hock. And then y'all do the same and we will go home and I'll make y'all a nice tawab dinner after with beef, after all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what a mother would attempt to do, right, or would try to do, but not this woman that we're gonna read about on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? This happened thousands of years ago, and we still commemorate this sister and her 7 sons who died bravely. You know what I'm saying? That is something to be commended. You know what I mean? So Most High in Christ for that. Go ahead, Almighty, sure.
Like, sir, if I may. So also, is there another story that goes along with this? Like, I believe something about we were at siege against the Greeks, but also the Romans were coming to help us, but the Romans betrayed us or something.
That's after. Mm-hmm. But he says another story.
Yeah, kind of. So that part doesn't go with this.
I don't want to say no, but I'm not too sure. I don't got the breakdown
Okay, okay.
on that particular part you're talking about. But what I do know is that after we defeated the Greeks,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? After we had defeated the Greeks, we made a stupid mistake that Israelites always make. You know what I'm saying? And we joined another oppressor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We tried to make an agreement with them. Of course, that ended terribly. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened with that one.
Right.
Yeah. Most High in Christ.
Right.
Oh, the water. No, Most High in Christ. I ain't the ball, bro. No sweat. I'm straight on the coffee right now, bro. The water, though. All right, so before I get into today's topic, man, anything anybody wants to bring out, you know what I'm saying? Anything y'all seen of lately that's, you know what I'm saying, pressing? Go ahead, Jonas, please. When I say pressing, it don't got to be, you know, world, international news. Something you thought was poignant.
Yeah, if I may. The thing that I sort of, you know, when I woke up this morning, I turned on the news. The first thing I saw was the mass killing out there in Wisconsin. Right. And I remember last week, one of the generals had predicted, like, during this holiday season, there was going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on, murders. And so that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw the report, you know, is what the general had said. Mm-hmm. I think it was a general, either Captain Mashak, had said it, like it's going to be all kind of crazy stuff going on during this holiday season.
Well, you know, that's common.
Yeah.
That actually, you know, saying the water, that's holidays are notoriously the time where more people die. That's a documented statistical fact. Children die on the night of Halloween and more than damn near any other night. You know what I'm saying? On the calendar, right? Obviously, there's a certain, you know, it's statistics, it's mathematical. A lot of holidays or so-called holidays, what they draw more traffic. There's more cars on the road. You know what I'm saying? Children are out by themselves later into the night, which of course is going to do what? I mean, who's going to have a field day? You want to call it it's a feast day for a what on Halloween night? A pedophile. Right. You know what I'm saying? He's the one really celebrating Halloween. He's the one really about to have the time of his life tonight, because a bunch of little children younger than 8 and 7 years old are going to be roaming the streets by themselves with no adult supervision at nighttime in the dark. In every, you know what I'm saying, in a small city, big city, small town, everywhere you go, some places that barely have streetlights, people are going to send their kids up the road to go to knock on some stranger's house. You know what I'm saying? Just like they did. What was that? When was that disgusting holiday? Yeah, Halloween. When was it? What was it, like last week or the week before or something like that? A couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting, right? But that's what it is, man. These give me Amos 5. You know the one I want, the water. You know what I mean? And that's just how the things go, because the Lord doesn't want us to dabble in this nonsense. Right. It ain't nothing spooky, man. 5 and 21 water. Ain't nothing spooky about this Bible. This Bible is not I'm just trying to help you out, right? This Bible is not some spooky, you know what I mean, fairy tale mythology book, you know what I mean, about ghosts and goblins and ghouls. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's not about that. This is the Israelite school of what? Universal practical knowledge. That's right. All right. We're teaching you things, as my brother, you know what I'm saying, Bunker Y'all always says, daily life living skills. This Bible teaches you how to be a better father, a better son, a better brother, a better mother, a better father, right? Teaches you how to raise your kids. You want to know why your kids end up getting kidnapped on Halloween? Because they shouldn't have been celebrating it in the first place.
That's right.
They shouldn't have been out there knocking on people's doors asking for candy. As we always say, you tell your kids not to talk to strangers, but on this night, don't even just not talk to them. Go to their door and knock on it. And if they invite you inside, go in there so you can get candy. What do you think that same kid is going to do in the middle of August when somebody pulls up in a truck and says, I got candy? You train them that on that when candy's involved, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Go ahead and read that, Maya Shaw.
Okay. The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I hate
I what?
I hate.
No, I love it.
I hate.
It's all good.
I hate.
No, I want you to do it.
I hate.
I hate. Go ahead.
I despise.
I what?
I despise.
What does it mean to despise something? To despise something. The Lord said, I hate, I despise. What does it mean to despise? Go ahead, Yanazor.
Context, I believe, is like disgusting, man. Something revolting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a great way to word it, right? The water. It's revolting.
Right.
I despise it. Like I don't want it near me. I'm not. The Lord is making it very clear. It's not a maybe. Right. It's not like, well, I don't really like it. Because there's some things in life like that, right? There's some things like I don't really like it, but yeah, not so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, y'all getting food from this place? I don't love it, but I'll take this. You know what I mean? The Lord, it's not like that. The Lord is saying, I hate it.
Right.
I despise it. Go ahead.
Come on. I despise your feast days.
Your what?
Your feast days.
What's the key word there? Mike Shaw.
It's like I said, your feast days.
Your feast days. That is a possessive, right? Your feast days. Right. Meaning it's not whose feast days.
It's like I said.
Kabul. Right. It's not the Lord's feast days. Right. Because the Lord would not call his feast days your feast days. He would call it my feast days. Right. That's what he calls it in the book of Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy. He says, these are my feast days. These are my feast days. But now he's saying, I despise your feast days. Right. Go ahead.
Oh, God. And I will not smell.
And I will not what?
And I will not smell.
Why is he saying I will not smell? Go ahead, Kabul.
So like so, because during our feast days, the priests, they would prepare the food or the lamb like for Passover, and they would say it was like a sweet smelling savor to the Lord.
You right, but make it a little simpler. You right, but simplify it a little bit. Well, don't think priest and make it simple for now, right now.
Yes, sir. Because it's not a lawful feast day. The Lord not dealing with it. He not smelling.
That is a simple answer. But why is he saying he will not smell? Yeah, are you sure?
So like I said, if I made like the smell of the food that you cook on these feast days.
That's what it is right there. Because when that Thanksgiving come. I mean, come on, let's not play games here. We all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians here, right? And we all, you know what I'm saying? We got them aunties and them grandmothers and them mamas. You know what I'm saying? And they get in that kitchen and they are doing actual alchemy in that place. They making something that you never even knew. I remember they make something in that kitchen that you can still smell 30, 40 years later. You know what I'm saying? Am I saying something that's, you never heard, Mike Shaw? You know what I mean? I can still remember smells from 1994. You understand? You can still hear. I remember my grandmother had that pressure cooker, that old school pressure joint, that one that can damn near kill you if you're not careful. And I can hear that joint, you know what I mean? I can hear it. I can smell it, right? Because that's what we do on our feast days. We go out and we cooking all the ham hocks and all of these nasty things, and that turkey too. And that turkey is lawful. It's lawful to eat some turkey. Cranberry sauce is not unlawful.
Right.
I know some of y'all brothers hate it. No sweat. It ain't unlawful to eat that. It's not unlawful to eat stuffing. It's not unless it got some pork in it. Right. A lot of these foods, mac and cheese, is not unlawful. It's tawab to eat it. But the Lord still said he what?
Oh God, I will not smell in your solemn
On
assembly.
That day, the Lord is not smelling that turkey.
That's right.
On that day, that mac and cheese is what to him? It's revolting.
Right.
He despises it. You understand? Why? Because the Lord knows that day is honoring what? The slaughter of 77 million Native American Indians.
No.
Our brothers, man. You got to be an absolute piece of garbage. And some of you activists and fake Israelites, you're going to go out there. You know that you went up there and you posted all on the Instagram and all on your Twitter and all on your Facebook about the slaughter and America is this and America's history.
Right.
You did all of that. And this Thursday, you know where they're going to be? They're going to be right at their family house, shaking hands and smiling from ear to ear like, I ain't seen you in how long, cousin so-and-so. And they're going to sit down. You know what I mean? They're going to sit down and eat that nasty feast. To hell with that feast.
Right.
To hell with Thanksgiving.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to McDonald's on Thursday. McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or something.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like whatever is associated with Thanksgiving, I don't want it. I don't even know if I want a turkey sandwich, to be quite honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I'm not telling you can't eat a turkey sandwich. The point is, you got to have some goddamn love for your people, man.
That's right.
We've become disgusting in this place, right? And the Lord knew our hearts. People be like, oh, the Lord knows my heart. He does know your heart. He knows your heart. And he knows that you are a wicked piece of garbage.
Right.
And that if he didn't tell you what to do, you would dishonor your own people. Read it from the top.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
Right. More than that? What does it say?
Verse 22. Though you offer me burnt offerings.
Yeah, well, I'll read that one and we can drop it, right? So you offer me burnt offerings, right? You offer me burnt offerings, man. You trying to, you know what I mean? You going in there and you offer me all these different things, all these different foods, you cooking it up and you offering it. And what do you do at that Thanksgiving table? You say what? Dear God, thank the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Some black woman get up there and she start praying for 8 minutes. A whole sermon, and you know you just want to eat.
Right.
You sitting up there like, when will she? Yo, can we please move on? You know what I'm saying? She's sitting up there praying, right? He said, though you offer me what?
Though you offer me burnt offerings.
Though you offer me burnt offerings. Go ahead.
And your meat offerings.
And you offer me the meat offering. Yeah, and you made that turkey. That's lawful.
Right.
That lawful turkey you made. Go ahead.
I will not accept them.
I will what?
I will not accept them.
No, I will accept them.
I will not accept them.
No, I want you to say, thank you, Jesus, God, Lord. Thank you to me, and I'm going to accept it.
I will not accept them.
He said he's not going to accept any of that filth. On that day, all of that becomes filth to the Lord.
That's right.
And disgusting to the Most High. All of it.
Yeah, right.
And I'll be damned if I participate. What do you think? I'll be damned if I participate in anything like that, man. Most High in Christ. Rock Yahweh Shah, man. The Commander General Yohana. And these men of the ISUPK to teach me how to have some goddamn integrity, man.
Right.
Some integrity. I didn't have it in the world. I thought I did. Just like a lot of my brothers and sisters, I just knew in the world I was a good brother. Because I never killed nobody, because I never did. Oh, yeah, I thought I was just so excellent. You know what I'm saying? To turn my nose up at other people. Meanwhile, where was I on Thanksgiving? I was at that table.
Right.
And I knew. Oh, I knew what that day meant. I said this the other day during Officer Yaramat's class. He was talking about the holidays too, right? The so-called holidays. You know what I'm saying? I remember I did a project when I was in college. When I was in college, I had to do this project for this theology course. I went up in this theology course and I told him that Christmas was a lie. I did that. I went in there and I said, listen, I said, Nimrod. I said, go to this scripture. I said, Christmas is a damn lie. It's not in the Bible. So should we celebrate? Hell no, we shouldn't celebrate Christmas because if you so-called Christian, you're supposed to be going by the Bible, and it's not in the Bible. I broke down how could Jesus have been born on December 25th when the hotel was packed, when he was sleeping in the manger. He would have frozen to death. I brought up all of those things. How could that be when Christ was born near the Passover, which is why the inn was packed? Because there was people in town in Jerusalem for the Passover. So he had to have been born somewhere in the springtime, somewhere around the Passover. I brought all that out. You know what I did that weekend? I celebrated Christmas. Integrity. Go ahead, Yamzor.
Salakia, sir. You know, just like we know in ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, we know what we worship. They know what they celebrate.
Right.
The devils know what they're celebrating, but our people don't know. They fall for this shenanigans every year, man, and go out here and spend billions of dollars on money, on food that they really sometimes they can't even afford. I've known people to borrow money to get a turkey,
Right.
with interest. I've known people to go to the loan shark, man, and borrow money for Christmas and Thanksgiving. You understand what I'm saying? They had to pay. So, but the devils, they know the real meaning of these holidays.
Absolutely. Damn right. Give him a hand. It's gonna be right into my topic. Anything else you want to bring up? John, please, come on.
This may be a little, it's like I said, maybe a little off topic, but
That's totally swell, brother.
something I heard today in the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Yes.
I heard the way the defense attorney described him.
Mm-hmm.
She said, who did he think he was coming to their town with his khaki shorts, long legs, and nasty long toenails? And I just wanted our people to understand how much the oppressor haters.
Brother.
They try to make it as if it's his fault he got killed.
Give him a hand. Just for this. I hope y'all paying attention. Hope y'all paying attention to these things. Right? And keeping you know what I'm saying, your eyes to these things. If you really, the easiest way to stay up on these things is to do what? Let's watch Commander Junior Hunter, right? Watch that Black Watch. Stay in tune. Black Watch, of course, will be on tonight. Stay in tune with that Black Watch. If you want like a you just want to get a nice all get them broke. That toenails.
on, see,
Please.
when you hear there's
Is opposite of that premeditated. I said a lot. I mean, it's like then I'm right.
said,
He's a proud whip. Wicked either way. Oh, that's gonna lead right into the little topic I'm about to get into real quick. I'm gonna just I might get into this.
Turn this out because the father wanted the Black Panther. Still,
This is hilarious. It's not funny, but this is what he said. I'm gonna read this article. This is an article from in business again. Race was straight struck from this. attorney for William Roddy Bryan has been condemned for trying to have Bubba. Well, goddamn. That's it.
All us, the black KKK.
I mean, give him a hand. Make no that we've been at for, you know what I'm saying, probably 7. Six. We black now. Here's an edge and stupid, and it just shows you how ridiculous people are. And think that is okay. Hate.
So like it's sir.
Hold anybody to kill anybody. We've never suggested just now. We know we're not really citizens, but we're told to what? Keep the law. Things don't open carry in places where it's illegal to open carry. Done as my with a microphone. Suddenly we become the black KKK. Why do we say that? Why do they say we're the black KKK?
Because they're afraid of the truth, and because they get, by making us the black KKK, they can silence us among the people.
Right. Right. But give me what are we saying? That's so it's like you, my shot.
Kind of, sir, because the white man.
When you say that, you might as well. That's worse than having 1,000 Uzis. That's worse than having these Draco and say you are the devil because God hates. God hates. I'm not going with this, Mr. Devil. You are the black KKK. Well, you know what? Baraka thought while Yahweh was shot. The brothers that taught me not to give a damn about what we could care less. Say which and if anybody has anything they want to bring out, you know what I'm saying, please do. Give me real quick. I mean, it might be strange to see. Nonetheless, it is reality. And if black people and Hispanics and Native Indians could just deal with a little bit of reality for once. My life, and if we could just deal with what's in front of us and be, you know what I'm saying? It's easier to be honest with a complete stranger than it is to be honest with yourself. If we can learn to be honest with ourselves, we will come to the realization that we're really not doing well in this place. And we got to change a lot. Go ahead, read that, Maya.
Come on. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
With my break that down. Simple.
Slugs.
Right? Because Egypt, you know what I'm saying, means captivity. You know what I'm saying? Bondage. Right? So the Lord's going to bring us into bondage again. Go ahead.
Come, with ships.
With ships, right? That's how it's going to happen. Slave trade.
Right.
That's how we were brought into captivity on anything but a cargo slave ship. But they magically just skipped that. They never been on a cargo slave ship.
That's right.
You understand? Never understand. And yes, our Hispanic and Indian brothers were also on Squanto when he came back to the Americas. Keyword America. He learned it where? In England. Because he was taken into slavery in England. And he can find his whole tribe wiped out. And so he started translating. All right. But go ahead, Mario, sure.
Come on. By the way whereof I speak unto thee.
That you are, right? This place where you currently are.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You're not going to see this place. You're going to rule over this. Right. We're still working.
Ye shall be sold.
There shall be what?
There you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. Same devils that are right now. How do I say this plainly? Is not your friend. He is nothing. He's only one thing to you. Don't ever forget this. He's your enemy. Period. Yeah, right. The oppressor is your enemy. Every day, every night of every week, forever. It will never change. It's not no amount of we shall overcome, no amount of marching, no amount of academic study, no amount of economic anything is going to change the fact that he is your enemy.
Right.
You understand? And we got to accept that. Finish it out, Mike, you sure?
Oh, God. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
That means no man shall buy you. What does it mean that no man shall buy you? Yeah, Kabul. I know you know that.
Slugs. Nobody shall redeem you.
Give him a hand. That's perfect. Your Christian pastor can't break down that scripture. He doesn't know what it means. He has no idea. No man shall buy you, as the brother just said, as Kabbalah Mom just said. It means no man shall redeem you. No man shall save you. So who the hell is that over there in Israel right now claiming to be the real Jew?
Right.
We were supposed to go into slavery, and no man was going to what? Going to redeem us. And save us from it. So, hold on. You ready, sir? Come on, sir. Let me get you up on the screen. Come on, sir. So I'm gonna let you know in a second. I'm gonna say capital C. Come on. Slide. Bear with me 1 second.
Hey, Shalom Akim.
And with that, I pass the class over to priest and Captain Nayatha.
Hey, Shalom. Yeah, how about Shema Thumb? How you all doing? Yeah, Shema Tabashima Shai to the sisters. All right.
Con, sir.
Okay, so let's get it. Where we at right now?
Yeah, it's like, sir, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, sir.
Come on. What you was getting into Tabo 1?
Oh, Salaki, so no, I was just going on the fact that the oppressor is our enemy. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank, period. He's our enemy.
Okay. All right, no sweat. All right, so let's finish this one off, right? And now I'll jump into the whole covenant. All right, so let's go.
Come on, book Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no
Right,
man.
and this is a precept that, you know what I mean, that your Christian pastor, they would never read this in the Christian church. Never, ever read this in the Christian church.
Right.
You understand? This is something you'll only learn in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. These are the other so-called fake Israelite groups or Christianized Israelite group. They learn all of their teaching from where? From One West, from Commander John Yohana.
Right.
You understand? All right. So read it again from the top, and we're gonna break it all the way down.
Kind of the book of Deuteronomy
And
chapter.
if you have any, and do you brothers and sisters have any questions, you know, put it in the chat. Type it in. All right, let's go.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right. And what's Egypt? Wait. What's the precept to prove what Egypt is?
Like it, sir.
Uh-huh.
Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 2, sir.
Okay, get it and read it.
Con, sir.
Get that and read it right there. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Very good. So Egypt is synonymous for what? For the word what? Bondage. Right? It comes from the word what? Egyptos, which simply means what? House of bondage. All right. And that's why America today, they have on their dollar, the pyramid with the all seeing eye. You understand? That's why you have Abraham Lincoln sitting in a chair like Ramesses, or the Iblis that you see in Washington. All right. All those things are symbolic for what? For Egypt. All right. So read on. Read on, Maisha.
Mm-hmm. Sir. Book Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And
Thou
there
shalt
you
see what no more again? Your land. Right? He wasn't going to see a land. That land, Israel, which is encompassed by the 4 rivers, right, that you read about in Genesis. Right? That's the land of Israel. And he said that we wasn't going to see it no more again. And to this day, we have not been able as a nation, not just as a group, as a nation, we have not been able to get back in that land as yet. Right? Read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for
And you're
bondmen.
going to do what?
sold unto your enemies for
Sold
bondmen.
unto your what?
To your enemies.
You understand? To your enemies. The Bible calls your oppressor your enemy. And that's very, very heavy. You understand? Now, when you go to court and your enemy is sitting down being the judge over you, what's going to happen?
So, like I said, if I may, he's going to rule against you, rule opposite in your favor. He's going to rule against you.
Opposite in your favor. You understand? You in Kyle Rittenhouse shoes, brother, we were going to jail. You were going to jail. You were going to jail for life.
Right.
Because you are armed, not just armed and dangerous, you are armed, black, and dangerous. And that's something America, they paint a very scary picture of when it comes to black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? Somehow when it comes to the Second Amendments with niggers or with brothers, it's, you know what I mean, it's a crime off the break. That's why it's so hard for us to even, you know what I mean, be able to get these how to say guns legally, right?
Right.
Not saying you should go get a gun illegal, but it's very hard for a brother to, you know what I mean, get a gun compared to our oppressor. Right. You understand? Right? Read on.
Okay. For bondmen and bondwomen.
For bondmen and bondwoman. Ain't no other nation went through what we went through.
That's right.
Right.
You understand? That's why you can't join us onto these Africans. These Africans didn't go through this. The children of Israel went through this. This is Moses speaking to the children of Israel, not to the children of Ham.
Right.
You understand? He's speaking to the children of Israel, saying they were going to be what? They was going to go to Egypt, back into Egypt by way of what? Slave ships. All right? As bondmen and bondwoman. It's historical that we are the only people that went into slavery by way of ships.
That's right.
And had to serve out slavery for over what, 400 years, and we're still counting it.
Right. Yeah.
Just our oppressor with his smooth words, with his play on words, make you think now you're an employee. Now you're not a slave, you're an employee. You understand? Now you're getting paid for your work. But guess what? When you take that dollar, who faces on it? What is inscribed on that dollar? Does that dollar has anything to do with your people? No. Which lets you know what? You are a slave.
Right.
You understand? We are slaves in this place. As the Bible says, this is not your what? This is not your rest. Right. Read on.
Come on, God. And no man shall buy you.
And no man was going to what? Buy you. Meaning no man was going to, as Kabal was saying, no man was going to what? Redeem you. Or simply what? Save you. No man was going to save you. To this day, ain't nobody came to our assistance. When Michael Brown was shot dead by Don Wilson, nobody came to our help.
Right.
When Trayvon Martin got killed by George Zimmerman, no one came to our help. The court system sided in favor of Zimmerman and what was the cop name? I think it's Darren Wilson.
Come.
Right? And they sided with what we gonna see what they're gonna do with what's your brother name? The Ahmaud Arbery. Yeah, we're gonna see what they're gonna do with his case. You understand? Because they're trying to call self-defense also too. And that's the one thing with your so-called oppressor. He wants to instigate everything, and then in the end, he wants to be the one that, you know what I mean, that has the right to call for self-defense. You do that, brother, you go into jail. You understand? You know what I mean? We do not have the oppressor privileges. We do not. We are slaves. And that's what we're reading about here. It's a curse from the Lord. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Right, that whole chapter Deuteronomy speaks of the curses. Right, that's what's going to befall us if we did not obey what the Lord said to do. All right. All right. Any questions in the room? Any questions online?
Sir.
Come on.
If I may, sir. Well, I asked the question. I think Officer N.W.O gave me a satisfactory answer. But if there's some more to it, I'll run it by you. I did mention it at the academy as well. And
okay, come on.
It was Hebrews 7 and 12, sir. Now, Hebrews 7 and 12.
What's the question you had with Hebrews 7 and 12?
Now, I if I may, sir, like when Officer N.W.O answered the question, I recall that you had answered this question for me before, sir. And in my own ignorance, I didn't recall the breakdown, sir. So, so it's here it is, if I may, sir. Okay. The book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 12. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
Right.
So
that was one of the questions that you had, right?
Yes, sir.
But you had said, well, yeah, he did change the law. But what law is this he's talking about?
The law of the priesthood itself, sir.
That's the law of the priesthood. Because back then you had to be born a Levite. You understand? Me and you couldn't be a priest back then. Our father would have to be from Levi, our lineage. All right. So read verse 12 over again.
Okay, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 12. For the priesthood being changed.
So hold on. So it's saying for the priesthood being what? Changed.
Changed.
Right. Go ahead.
There is made of necessity a change also of the law.
Right. Right. Read on.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe.
Of which that's it's going into what? Into the fact that what?
You had to be a Levite before.
Right. And now it's saying what? Read verse 13. Start verse 13 over one more time.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaineth to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Right, which no man gave attendance at what? At the altar. And now let's read on and see what it's talking about.
Verse 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Right, because you couldn't be a Judite and be what? A priest.
A priest.
You couldn't. Right? And that's why I just read in verse 13. You could not have been a Judite and be a priest. Right? But now the Paul is bringing what? Evidence to show you that what?
That Christ is
no longer. Go ahead.
That now we're under the priesthood of Melchizedek.
Yes, that's the point he's trying to drive home.
Sir.
That's the point he's trying to drive home. That's why he said, read verse 14 again.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
All right, so he's telling you that Christ sprang out of what? Judah. And what precept could you use to show that Christ, you know what I mean? I don't want to give it to you. Read verse 15 first, and then we'll get the precept.
15. And it is yet far more evidence, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arise another priest.
You understand? So he bringing it you know what I mean, bringing more concrete evidence than the Levites. No, ain't you just, you know what I mean, you can't be born into it. There ain't nothing like that again. You understand? Because Melchizedek was what? How was he born?
He had no parentage, sir.
Yeah, he had no beginning, no end. Right? So now you can't say what? But he ain't a priest because he ain't what? He ain't come from a Levite, right? He had no beginning, no parents, no beginning, no end. Right? But he was considered a what? A priest of the Lord. Right? Read on.
Verse 16. Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment.
What's the law? What's that law?
That's the law of you have to be born a Levite. That's the carnal commandment.
Very good. That's it. That's it. Because now you me and you couldn't meet priests. Now that's why with those pastors like T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and them, they had their sons. Their sons would have been able to what? Carry on instead of them. You understand? And that's how it was when days with Levi. You understand? Levi, from Levi, his sons, they were the ones in charge of the priesthood. You understand? And that was what? That's the carnal commandment. Right? Read on.
But after the power of endless life.
Right? After the power of endless life. Meaning what?
The power from the Most High.
What does it mean by endless life?
Oh, that's the spiritual. Meaning the spiritual life. Instead of the carnal, this is coming from the spiritual level.
Give me. Okay, you got to bring it home.
Okay.
It's right. You just read it.
So, like I said, if I may, the law.
No.
Oh, if I may, sir.
Come on.
Having no recorded birth, like.
Very good. So who is he speaking about right here? That little verse right there. That line.
Christ and Melchizedek.
It's talking about Melchizedek.
Come on.
Because remember, Christ had a beginning. All right. So it's saying, but after the power of what? Endless life. You understand? We are priests after the order of who? Melchizedek. You understand? All right. All right. Read on.
Verse 17. For he testifieth, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
All right. And that's the commandments that was changed. That's the law that was changed. You understand?
Most High in Christ.
All right. So you're good with that now?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay.
Most High in Christ.
All right. So now let's go to let's jump straight into it, right? With the covenant, right? So Tabo, look up the definition of a covenant. Or anybody in the room, let's look up the definition of a covenant. What's a covenant? And then let's go to Genesis 17.
I got it, sir.
Come on.
This is the definition of a covenant. It says an agreement.
So a covenant is what? An agreement between what? Between what? Two parties, right? Or more. Right?
Like
no. Go ahead.
No, just to clarify, a formal agreement. It's like a formal written agreement between two or more people, businesses, countries, etc. Okay.
Good. So now it's a formal agreement. Now we're going to read the agreement of this covenant that the Lord made with a specific people. All right. Go to Genesis 17 We can start at verse 1, and we'll skip around. All right.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
I said the Lord speaking to who? To Abraham, right? And letting him know what? He gonna make a covenant between Abraham and himself, right? Gonna multiply his what? Him exceedingly, meaning people gonna come from Abraham. Yeah, I mean a ton of people gonna come from him, exceedingly, right? Read.
Verse 3. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, verse 4, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Right? A father of what? Many nations. All right. So he making a what? A formal what agreement with Abraham right now. Right? And Abraham at this time was what? He was, you would say what? Was he any truth? Go ahead.
What was the question again, sir?
Was Abraham any truth right now?
Sir, not yet, sir.
Not as yet, but you're going to read. Let's read further down, and you're going to see how the Lord does it. Right? Skip to verse 5.
Sir. Verse 5. Neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made thee.
So Abraham was what? Now he in. You understand? Now the Lord told him, you know what? You ain't going to be called this man no more. They'll be called Abraham, father of many nations. Right? Read on.
Verse 6. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Right? Skip to verse 7.
Book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 7. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power.
Go ahead. To be a what?
To be a power unto thee.
To be a power unto thee. Right? So skip down to skip down to verse 10.
Book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 10. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Right. Every man child among you shall be what?
Circumcised.
Right. Now, fast forward to today. What let me see how to word it here. I don't want to give you the answer. When it comes to circumcision, right? Right? Are we still to do it?
Slug, sir.
Come on.
Sir. Come on.
We're still to do it. So in other words, if we don't get circumcised on the 8th day, we can't be in the truth.
La'a, sir. No, when I say la'a, I don't mean la'a, we can't be in the truth. I mean la'a to what you're saying. We don't have to have gotten it done on the 8th day. But circumcision is still our custom.
Okay. It is our custom, correct? Right? Now, okay. If you fast forward to the New Testament, right? What was the situation with circumcision?
So, like, if I may, sir,
it's the same question I kind of like asking it right now. Come on.
I believe the you know what I'm saying, the Pharisees and Sadducees were saying like, if you're not circumcised, and you can't, the Lord not dealing with you, period. Like you just done off. You done. Period.
Right. Correct. And okay. Now when it came to Peter and the disciples, how did they look at the circumcision?
If I may, sir, they looked at the circumcision like it was still our custom, but they understood because they were taught by Christ, they understood the spirit of the law, and they were teaching that it's more important to be circumcised in your heart.
Not the disciples,
Salaki,
but who? That's it. Okay, just to give it in a nutshell, right? And this might be a topic we could, further go into. But just to give it in a nutshell, right? Paul and Peter wasn't seen eye to eye because of this.
Come on.
You understand? That's why Paul, you read in the New Testament, where Peter did not want to be seen eating with brothers who were not from Jerusalem. Because that's how serious they took circumcision. Now, what you have to be what has to be circumcised?
Salakia.
Come on.
Your spirit, your mind.
Right? What the Bible say? You correct? Paul was trying to say circumcision of what? Of the heart, which, as Yanis is saying, your mind. You understand? That was what was more important, and that what Paul was trying to explain to Peter. That's why Peter, remember the vision Peter got? Where Christians like to use, it's in Acts 10, where Christians like to use to say that what? That you can eat anything. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Right? So get hold where you at, get that for me. Go to Acts 10 and give me where it says where it speaks about unclean.
I got it, sir.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Acts. I guess we could start at verse 7.
Go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 7. And when the angel spake unto Cornelius, which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. Verse 8.
Go ahead.
And when he had cleared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow.
That's not what I'm looking for. I went straight to the point.
Okay, I guess we started verse 10.
Yeah, come straight to the point where it speaks about unclean thing.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up right here quick. All right, what I told you, Acts 10, right?
Yeah, I think it's 12, sir.
Acts 10 and read verse 14.
Come on, sir. Verse 14. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
Right? And that's the vision that Peter was having, right? And he was saying, nah, Lord, I don't eat nothing that ain't unclean. I don't eat pork, I don't eat crab, shrimp, or lobster. I don't eat these things. Right? Now, Christians take this to be what? Something literal, but this was a vision Peter was getting pertaining to his brothers. You understand? Skip to verse 28.
Sir. Verse 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, but the Most High hath showeth me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
Right. And when he say any of another nation, what is he talking about? Is he talking about your oppressor? Come on.
Sir.
Sir, he's talking about people within your own nation. That's not.
Yes.
That's not following the law. Like the Gentiles of within our nation, that's not following the law.
Right. And one thing was they took the law of circumcision very seriously. Hey, brother, if you wasn't circumcised, Peter and them was not speaking to you.
Mm.
You couldn't sit down and eat with them, man. That's how serious it was. And Paul had to explain it to him, had to bring it all the way down. Yo, now you have to be what? You have that circumcision of your heart. You understand?
Come.
All right.
Slug,
and as go ahead.
Slug, so just a quick question. So, like, where I understand that the scriptures tell us that we got to be, circumcised on the 8th day, but where were they getting that you couldn't even sit with somebody who wasn't circumcised? Like, where in the law would they get that from?
Hold on, I'll tell you. 1 minute.
Come on, sir.
Go back to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis. Where was that just now? Genesis, what is 17?
Come. 17.
All right, let's see. Hold on.
Come.
I get it. It's where he told you if you wasn't circumcised on the 8th day, you was not going to be considered Israelite no more. All right. Let's see if I can find it quick for you.
Verse 14, sir. Oh, yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 14. It says, and the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, Salakia, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
That's where they got it from. Like you'll be cut off. It's no similar. It's similar to if you missed the Passover, that was it for you. You were done. You were out the door. You'll be treated as a what? As a Gentile. You understand? That's why they call the brothers and sisters who were living outside of Jerusalem Gentiles. You understand?
Come.
They would not sit and eat with these brothers and sisters. Because to them, you're done. You missed the Passover. You're not circumcised. You're celebrating Christmas. You're celebrating all the holidays that the Romans gave you. So you done. You out. You understand?
Come.
All right. So now bring it back to today. Yes, you should keep that custom of circumcision. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But that does not mean now that the child is what? He's cut off from his people.
Right.
You understand?
Okay.
But we still keep that custom as a people.
That's right.
All right. Where we at right now? So go back to Genesis, right?
Come.
Go back to Genesis and where you had stopped at in Genesis?
Salakia, sir, was verse 10, sir.
Verse 10?
Come.
Okay. Read on.
Come. Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 10. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Good. Read on.
Oh, come. Verse 11. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. Verse 12. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Good.
Come,
Right.
verse
Now skip down to verse 21.
Come. Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
Right. He will establish his covenant with who?
With Isaac.
With Isaac, not Ishmael. You understand? This is the cut. These Arabs or these brothers who want to say that Ishmael is the promise. Ishmael has nothing to do with the promise, has nothing to do with the covenant.
That's right.
You understand? It said that what? Read that verse over one more time.
Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
Right? So you see the covenant that the Lord made with us, right? Made that covenant with us, and that cut in the foreskin of your penis was a what? A token to show that what? It was like agreement. You know, Esau, they like to, slice the hand and then shake hands, or spit in the hand and shake hands,
right,
to make some type of agreement. Well, the agreement that we had with the Lord, we will do what? We will cut our children or male child foreskin on the 8th day. You understand? To show the Lord that, we make this covenant with you and we hold into that covenant. Right? Good? Right. Read on.
Verse 22. And he left off taking with him, and God went up from Abraham. Verse 23. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin.
Right, even though, so Ishmael and them still got what? Circumcised. But the Lord did not establish his covenant with Ishmael.
Right.
It's with Isaac. That's why you have to, the lineage goes with who? Who's the patriarchs?
Abraham,
it's
Isaac,
what?
and Jacob.
Yes, Israel. No, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? For you to be considered an Israelite, for you to be considered one of God's chosen children, these three you had to go all the way back to. You understand? So if you go all the way back to Esau, then what? You ain't one of us. To go all the way back to Ham, you ain't one of us.
Right.
You understand? You have to come from what? Abraham, Isaac, and who? Jacob. Who name later was changed to who? Israel.
Right.
Good? Right? Now, the Lord made that covenant with us, but guess what? Guess what we did? We broke the covenant. We broke the agreement. So the Lord did what? The Lord split us into what? Two nations, basically. Judah and who? Israel. He split us. Right? Go to Ezekiel 37 and 15.
I got it, sir.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 15. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, verse 16, moreover, thou son of man, take one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions.
now, and this is what you have to understand, right? Once you can get this in the back of your head, right, it's learning is going to be simplified. You understand? Get this in the back of your head. The Bible has what? One flow, right? It's like a river, one flow, right? What's that one flow the Bible has in it?
So, like I said, if I made the lineage of
who?
So, like I said, from Adam, well, no, so like from Abraham to us today.
Yeah, but okay, give me it in a nutshell. That one flow is what? This Bible is about who?
Oh, so like I said, Israelites, sir.
Yes, that's the one flow. You understand? It's about Israelites. It's about us doing what? It's about us falling and about us what? Rising. You understand? Ain't nobody else could come into it. So when you read about a stranger being what? Being saved by the Lord, you know that stranger is who?
An Israelite.
An Israelite. It has nothing to do with another nation. You understand? You're with me, right?
How do I come?
That's that one flow. All right. Your oppressor could read the Bible and try to cleave onto it, but that's not how it goes. The Bible is about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
It's their history, right? And what we're reading about right now is what? The Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, right? Northern is who? Israel, Southern, Judah. All right, so read on.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 16. And for the children of Israel, his companions, then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
I say this stick, you have what? One stick with what? Judah, another stick with who? Joseph, Ephraim. All right. Write upon it. Read on.
Verse 17. And join them one to another into one stick.
And join them one to another in what? One stick. Right? Read on.
And they shall become one in thine hand.
And they shall become what?
One in thine hand.
One in thine hand. We broke the covenant, so the Lord did what? Split us. Now he's saying what? We're going to be one again. And that's what Christ came to do. Right? Read on.
Verse 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us that thou meanest by these?
Right? You're going to show us what you mean by joining these two sticks together? Read on.
Verse 19. Say unto them, thus saith the Lord, the Most High, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim.
Right? In the hand of Ephraim, meaning what? He's the one, what? He's the head tribe. Right? Read on.
And the tribe of Israel, his fellows.
All right? His fellows, meaning what?
The other tribe.
The rest,
yeah.
They follow who? Ephraim. Right? Read on.
And will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
All right. And now for this to happen, what had to happen? That's where the new covenant come into play now. You understand? With the adoption had to come into. All right. And this is all the way with Ezekiel, and Ezekiel what? Prophesying this to the people. Because by then, what had happened by then?
We in captivity.
Yes. And Israel was in captivity, right? And where was Judah? Judah was fit into being captivity soon after. You understand? And Ezekiel is prophesying that these two, Israel and Judah, were going to come back together again. They wasn't going to be separated forever. Right? Read on.
I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim and the tribe of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in thine hand. Verse 20. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes.
All right, read on. So all this is what symbolical, right? But it means there's a meaning to it, right? Read.
Verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord the Most High, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them,
Go ahead.
And bring them into their own land.
Bring them into their own land, right? So this is Ezekiel prophesying that we all going to be what? Joined back together again, right? And Christ came into the New Testament to do what? To ensure that take place. You understand? That's what Christ came into the New Testament to do, right? That's why you can't say, well, we in the New Testament, we had to forget about the Old Testament. No, you can't do that. The old and the new go what? Hand in hand. It's a bridge. You leave the old out, then you don't get the full story. So in other words, you won't understand everything that's been taking place in the New Testament anyhow. They go hand in hand, right? Now, carry me to Hebrews 8 and 6.
The book of Hebrews. 8 and 8.
8 and 6.
8 and 6, concert. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises.
You understand? So you understand what it's saying here, right? So read it again. Read verse 6 again.
But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant.
What's a mediator?
If I may, sir, you said a go-between.
Yes, right? He's the man who going to do what? You're going to come to him, and then he going to go to the other party. So he's the in-between. So he's making sure everything sign off on one side and the other side. Right? He's the go-between. Right? Read on.
Verse 7. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for a second.
Right? So what is it saying here?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Like, sir, if we would have kept the covenant in the first time, we wouldn't have need this the second time.
Very good. That's it. Yeah, that's all it's saying right there, brother. You're correct. You understand? All right, read on.
Verse 8. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
And that's what? Who was prophesying that?
Ezekiel.
That's why you see how the old go hand in hand with the new? Ezekiel is prophesying this exact same thing that you're reading about here in Hebrews. Read on.
Verse 9. not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord.
Right. And now it moved all the way to what? To us, what? He given us, he making it what? A covenant with what? With Abraham. Then it moved to who? To Isaac, right? He said he's going to establish it with who? With Isaac. And then Isaac had who?
Jacob,
right? And then Jacob had the what? 12 tribe of Israel. And the Lord decided what? You know what? I made the promise with who? With Abraham, that I was going to make you all a great what? A great nation. And he what? He used Moses to do what? Give us the what? The laws, right? Not saying we didn't have the law already, because remember, Adam had the laws, and Adam taught his sons, and his son taught his son. You understand, right?
If I may, sir.
Come on.
So he like gave us a government, right? With Moses, right?
Yes, he basically told you this is how you're gonna deal with each other. And the Lord specifically gave us laws to separate us from who?
The heathen.
Yes, and more specifically from Egypt, from the Egyptians. You understand? All right, read on.
Verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
Right? And he prophesying that what? That we're going to know what? The laws. We're going to know it. It ain't going to be like, well, I didn't know we supposed to eat pork. Nah, brother. One day you're going to wake up and you're going to know that what? You're going to have to eat, that you cannot eat pork. You cannot have interracial marriage. He says he's going to put it where? In your inward parts, in your mind. You understand?
Right.
And we do that. It starts when? That is going on what? Right now. You understand? Right now in Israel, that is going on. It's where? It's in your inward parts. You are raising your kids up where they'll never what? They never celebrate Christmas. They never eat pork. They don't know what they will know. They will learn about Thanksgiving, but they will never celebrate Thanksgiving.
Right.
You understand? Like we're doing it under Commander Junior Hanna. We're bringing that nation. We're bringing this back on the earth. Right? Read on.
Verse 11. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me.
Right? When Christ returned, brother, and wreak havoc on this place, bet your butt some dollar. And you smell pork, you are going to vomit. You understand? You see an oppressor woman, right? You're gonna turn your head.
Right.
Or you're gonna look at it as livestock, as cattle, something you could put to work in the field.
Right.
You understand? You will not be looking at that as some companion that you could have some relationship with. You're not going to do it. You understand? Right? Yeah. Read on.
And every man and his brother saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
From the least to the greatest. Who's the least in the kingdom of heaven?
Pastor Pork Chop.
Yes.
Right.
Your pastors who've been teaching you, you know what I mean, laws that are they're gonna know it on that day, brother.
Right.
Oh, Creflo and TD Jakes, they're gonna know the law on that day. Read on.
Verse 12. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins in their iniquities will I remember no more. Meaning the Lord going to do what? He going to wipe your slate what? Clean as a people. As a people, he going to wipe it what? Clean. When Christ return, wipe clean, you get to what? Start over. You understand? Right? Read on. Verse 13. In that he saith, a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxes old is ready to vanish away. Right. And that old covenant has to deal with what? Where's the old covenant?
So, like you sir, the Old Testament, sir.
Very good. The new covenant is what? That new what? The New Testament. The New Testament. You understand? And Christ came and showed us how to do what? How to live. Right? Christ came and showed us how to live, brother. You understand? And he gave us that new covenant. All right. Now, how many of you remember the story of the prodigal son? Come on, sir. Right. Does this make mention of the prodigal son in the Bible? Come on, sir. You sure? Well, there's a story pertaining to a situation where there was a son who was called the prodigal son, who went out of his father's house and wasted all of his wealth, and he was partying and sleeping with whores, and then he was broke, and then he remembered that his father had a good house, and he returned to his father. Okay, so do this, right? Tab one, look up prodigal son and see what it says about it, and then we're gonna read it. Right? Maya Shai, go to Luke 15 and 11.
Come on. It says parable of the prodigal son. The parable of the prodigal son, also known as the parable of the two brothers, lost son, loving father, or the forgiving father, is one of the parables of Jesus in the Bible, appearing in Luke chapter 15, verse 11 to 32. Jesus shares the parable with his disciples, the Pharisees, and others. And do they tell you what it means? Let's see. Do they give you? Do they say what it means? So now remember what I asked right before. Does it make mention anywhere about what a prodigal son? I don't. If I may, sir. I don't believe in the scriptures it uses the word prodigal. This is just very good. This is just how they have decided to take this parable and put a title on it. Right. To make it seem like what? This is a son that what? That left and squandered his earnings and came back. They do not equate it to who? Israel. Yes. They don't equate it to those two sons. Who are those two sons in the parable? If I may, sir. The two sons would be Judah and his companions, the southern kingdom, and Israel and his companions, the northern kingdom. Very good. That's the parable. Now, if you don't even know that, then the parable becomes whatever you want to make it. Right. You understand? Now it becomes what? A prodigal son. Come on. Right? What does prodigal mean? Look up and see if they give a definition of prodigal. Come on. Right? No, you ain't gonna learn none of this in a Christian church. You know that, right? You ain't gonna learn the truth behind this parable in your Christian church. You are not going to learn it. I got it, sir. Come on. The word prodigal means, according to the Oxford dictionary, spending money or resources freely and recklessly, wastefully extravagant. Right. So now you're going to equate it to what? To Tyrone, your brother. Now you're going to see you treat him
Like, you know what I mean? You treat him better than me. Now you equating it to your everyday life. When this has to deal with what? A nation coming back together or coming back to the fold. You understand? You lost the whole concept, the whole meaning of this parable. And that's why Christ spoke in parable. Christ spoke in parable so that what? So that seeing, some people will what? Won't see. And hearing, they can hear. Because Christ does not want everybody understanding these parables. You in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge counted a blessing that Christ chose you to sit down in the seats with these men.
That's right.
You understand? Counted a total blessing. You understand? Because without him, brother, you will be thinking about the prodigal son the way the Christian church will have you thinking. Right? What's the thing? I'm gonna leave this story for next week, right?
Come on.
I'm gonna leave this story for next week. So anybody have any questions before we end the class? Any questions in the room? Any questions online?
Let me check, sir. Wow, sir.
Okay. All right. With that, right? Tabo one, you all have one more thing to do there, right?
Damn right, sir.
All right. So what's his name? Yan is that gonna come up on the podium with you, right?
Okay, but you gonna read it and we gonna repeat after you, sir?
No. You're gonna do it right there in the room. You're gonna do it right there.
Right?
So before you all leave out, what's his name? Cabal. Step forward, brother.
Damn right.
Brother done came through. You know what I mean? Change his life, whatever he was called in the world. Put on all black. You understand? Put on all black. Came to camp, did his time, and did his test. And now he's an officer of 50. Damn right. Now this oil is going to be poured on your head, brother. You understand? Take this very serious. You understand? This is an oath you're going to make to the Lord right now, brother. Take this very serious. You understand? And Tabo, when you could pour the oil on his head right now, Kabul again, 2 seconds to run out the door. 1, 2. Pour the oil on his head. That's it there.
I got you. Want to read the prayer, sir?
Yeah, you can shut me out now, and you'll go ahead and read the prayers for him, right? And he's just going to repeat his name 3 times.
Okay, so I will salute you real quick first, sir.
Yeah.
You're gonna get one courtesy salute to the teacher. You're gonna visit. I might be Shabbat. I might be. Barak. Yahaba Shem Yashai Brakatham. And good work, Kabal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Lord, you have